Alright. Camera rolling. Woohoo! How do you sound? Testing, testing. Okay, cool. So back in April, I got a van to convert into a camper. I went with a Ram Promaster because it's the most squared off van. And I went with the 159 wheelbase because it's the biggest you can go while still being able to fit in a parking spot. I was looking at the computer there. I should be looking at the camera. I got a monitor for the camera over here and a computer with notes on it over here. And I'm just gonna have a real hard time looking at the lens. Since I've gotten it, I haven't made a ton of progress because I work at Target and I'm just buying things as I can afford it. So as of now, it's kind of just a cargo van, which is honestly still super fun because anywhere I go, I just have all this free space and it's basically like a portable changing room. As I'm adding stuff, it's becoming more and more like a little house anywhere I go. So before I do any building out in the van, while it's still empty, I want to hit the drop out of the back of my mountain bike. I'm kind of cheating because there's like a dirt hill here, but it's still sketchy because there's like no run up, so I'm gonna fill it up a little bit and go for it, hopefully. So far I've put in a bench seat and a bed. Even though I don't really have much, it's allowed me to drive 2 other friends so I can fit 4 people all together, including me. And also I have a bed so I can go sleep anywhere I want. Doing it this way is a little bit out of order. Normally people kind of start with like the insulation and stuff. Even though I'll probably end up having to redo stuff and make mistakes, it's nice to just kind of have it be a functional adventure vehicle in the meantime. I'm not the most experienced at construction. I worked construction for like 1 summer and I used to do this like service project thing where we build like decks for people and stuff. So I know woodworking and stuff, but we're just going with it. It took me a little while to decide what my first move was going to be with the build, but I decided to go with a bench seat because I like being able to drive my friends around. And it's kind of tough when you only have 1 other seat. And my girlfriend, I normally am taking places, so it's like I can't take anyone else. I was scouring Facebook Marketplace for like a couple weeks and I found this bench seat. It ended up kind of being a pain in the ass to get because the guy was just not very good at communicating, but I ended up getting it. And it's like a 2-seater bench seat that's perfect for what I wanted, and it was only $70. We just drove all the way out to like Tracy. It's like an hour and a half drive, and we're grabbing a bench seat for the car so I can have it in the back. Mission accomplished. We got the bench seat in the van. I have to get rails to bolt it in, so it's just kind of sitting there right now, but that's where it's gonna sit. Gonna have the bed behind it. We got our bikes in here. The seat worked as part of like a quick release system. The problem is I was getting a Ford Transit seat for a Ram Promaster, and the Ram Promaster just didn't have any things at all, so I had to buy the rails that you click the seat into. Funnily enough, after shipping, the rails were more expensive than the seat. Once I got the seat and the rails, I did a quick trip to Ace Hardware to get all the hardware I needed. They only sent this bolt. Well, they sent 4 of them to bolt them in, but they didn't send any nuts or washers or anything, and I also need to get some silicone to seal the holes because I'm about to drill some holes in the ground of my van, which is a scary first thing to be doing with the renovation, but it'll be nice to have a bench seat. Oh no, you can totally see the light in my glasses. See, I got a little softbox thing up there. It's not the best, but it works. Alright, y'all, it's time for the Ace Hardware banana haul. We got some automotive silicone to seal up the holes once I drilled them, a big ass drill bit, got a receipt, washers, and bolts. Let's freaking go! Once I had everything ready, I got to securing the seat into the van. I got started by making sure that the rails fit the seat correctly. They're gonna fit just perfect, and positioning everything where I wanted it. Once I had the stuff in position, I marked with a little marker through the rails where I would drill the holes. The issue was that the rails themselves had these weird little peg things, and I stupidly just drilled an extra hole for those to go through. I should have just borrowed my friend's angle grinder to saw it off, but I thought, oh, it'll be extra secure, but I'm stupid, and this is what I'm talking about how stuff's gonna come back to bite me in the ass. But I mean, it did work. It's not like I have to redo it, but it's just like unnecessarily stupid. I ended up having to just drill the little holes and then seal them with silicone once the pegs were through. Once everything else was marked and I made sure that those pegs were lined up, I started drilling. This was incredibly stressful because there wasn't really any room for mistakes, and I was basically drilling into the most expensive thing I've ever bought. Once I had the holes drilled, I put the rails back into place to make sure everything's still lined up.
So I didn't get perfectly accurate, so I'm just gonna use these washers instead of these ones that it came with. These ones are kind of weird anyways. I think these ones will be better.
At this point, I needed another hand because I couldn't reach all the way to the top inside the van and also underneath to tighten it in. So I waited till my girlfriend was free. So I'm taking a quick break because I had an appointment to get my hair cut. So doing that real quick and I'll get back to getting screwed in, baby.
Hot young girl with a massive tool.
Once we got back to my place, with her help, we secured the rails.
I'm using my skateboard as a cool guy auto worker thing. I am filming.
And then we were able to put the seat in and could sit in it, and it was secure.
We got a bench seat, baby.
We realized that night, though, that the nuts I got were just kind of like random Ace Hardware nuts, which isn't the best for securing a car seat, but we'll get back to that. For the next couple months, I was just kind of rocking the bench seat in the van. I just had this big cargo van everywhere I went with a ton of space, which, while sometimes a little tough, like it's hard to go through drive-thrus and, you know, I can't really park in parking garages. But other than that, I mean, it actually drives really well. It can U-turn like no one's business. And I've gotten used to not really being able to look in my blind spot. It does have some really good blind spot mirrors, but it's definitely weird to like not look over your shoulder. Because if you look over your shoulder in that thing, you're just looking at a metal wall. So yeah, that was definitely a learning curve. A while later, we were planning on going on a camping trip with our friends, which is another video that's coming up. On this camping trip, initially we were thinking of like either just sleeping on the floor with an air mattress or using cots, but with the way that the seat was in there, you had to take it out to put an air mattress in, which was annoying. We'd done it a couple times, but it's just more work than it's worth. And so I decided to just go for it and make the bed, even though I didn't have any of the walls in yet. While most of the time you'd probably get the walls in first, I think the way that I'm planning on doing like the insulation in walls, I should be able to build around the way I did the bed. I'm also probably going to take the bed apart anyways because I didn't treat it stupidly, so I'm going to have to do that and sand it down. It's starting to like sap. It's like I said, a lot of mistakes in this build, but we're having fun. I started the build by cutting 2x6s to secure to the frame of the car. When I was cutting those 2x6s, I tried to use this old circular saw that I had. And I got it out and turned it on, and it just made this awful sound. Nope. I used instead this jigsaw that my girlfriend's dad had lent me to use for this. As soon as I realized that that circ saw was so fucked up, I went and ordered a new one on Amazon. Once I had the 2x6s cut, I secured them into the van with a bunch of framing screws, which probably wasn't the best idea, but I wasn't sure how permanent it was going to be, so I figured it'd be easier to just get it in with those. But I am probably going to replace those with some solid bolts. That was all I got done on the first day, but the second day, I built the bed frame with 2x4s. My new circular saw was supposed to come that day, but it didn't, so I borrowed Kaylin's, who was coming to help me anyways.
Watch out for the camera, bro. Oh, shit.
I cut all the pieces to length, and then we laid them out on the garage floor to kind of build out the frame. We did 2 long pieces by 5 of the width pieces, and I cut it out to the width of a full-size bed, and then a few inches short of what the standard is, because I basically just went to the full length of the van.
About ready to go. I'm gonna make sure that this is centered, and then this is centered between these two on both sides, and then we're gonna start drilling it all together.
Once they were all laid out nicely, we screwed them together with the help of Kaylin holding them in place while I screwed. Once the bed frame was made, we used it to measure out the particle board. We were able to get just 1 piece of particle board to fill the whole thing, which is pretty nice. Cutting the particle board was definitely the hardest cut because it's like super long, and also if I mess up, it's probably the most expensive thing to buy again.
That actually looks pretty dang good. I'm gonna sneeze. I got sawdust in my nose.
But we were able to get it done okay, and we laid it out, and everything was fit nicely. I always end my sentences with a little like nicely. I gotta change my enunciation. I just gotta get better at talking to a camera. With the particle board ready, we waited to drill it in because we figured it'd be easier to get the frame of the bed in first.
Woo! This is so cool. People can sleep under here. I mean, yeah, like for real. Okay, let's get these brackets in.
I don't like it. Take it out.
Ooh, it's sturdy, baby. I'm disgusted. Oh, it landed right side up. Oh, it's kind of cold.
Getting the particle board into it after that was really tough because with the frame of the bed we could kind of go in diagonal and then level it out, but with the particle board there was something in the way to do that, so we had to go in the side door and lift it all crazy. I felt like a dad. I was like yelling at Kaylin, like when the dad yells at you for holding the flashlight wrong.
Oh, grab it. Ah, shit. What are you doing? Sorry. Stop lifting. Now we get underneath and you come in. Whew. See there, I really felt like the dad. Yeah.
I was just being that guy, and I'm sorry, Kaylin. I promise to be better. Are you still recording? I'm really paranoid that everything's gonna stop recording. Once we got everything in though, we screwed it all together, and I had a bed.
We got it done.
And it's super sturdy now. I'm hyped. It's been really worth it to have a bed, even if it's not permanent, because that camping trip, it made it so much more comfortable for me and my girlfriend JC to sleep. And also, I have a bed when I'm on my breaks at work, which is pretty awesome. Before we went on that camping trip, I had to fix the bolts on the seat. I realized I should also put in these metal plates, I think they're like steel, to just reinforce the bottom. This was in the next couple days after building the bed, but we were kind of rushed because we were going on that camping trip and I was driving other people, so I wanted to try to make sure the back seat was more safe. So once again, I went to Ace Hardware and got all the stuff I needed for it. I was able to get this long strip of the steel I needed and like a blade for the saw I had. So I cut 4 4-inch pieces of that metal and then drilled holes through all of them. I stupidly, the first drill went fine, I think that's the only one I recorded, but the second one took me like 15 minutes because I didn't realize my drill was set to backwards, so I was just sitting there trying to unscrew, well not unscrew because it's a drill bit, but whatever you call it, going backwards with the drill into it, and I was just putting all my weight, and it's like, did I like break the bit or something? It still looks fine, why isn't it drilling? And then I just realized that I'm stupid and didn't have it set to the right setting. After that, I painted the holes in the van and the metal pieces with anti-rust paint, which was another thing I realized I hadn't done, and you know, I don't want my van rusting, so it's a little important to do that. And after that, we resecured the seat and had a good seat for our camping trip. On the camping trip with the bed, I just used like a memory foam mattress topper that's like 2 inches, and it worked. It was like more comfortable than like a sleeping pad, but not by a ton. So when we got back, JC and I decided that we should get the real mattress, and it's been awesome on my breaks. And we also went to Santa Cruz, which is another video that's coming up. I got a lot of videos I need to edit. So you got a full-size 6-inch memory foam mattress, and it's actually really comfy. It was only like $160, I think, which is pretty good for a mattress. So far, I'm not doing the van build in the most orthodox order, but it's allowing me to kind of keep using the van as I'm building it. It's going to be a slow build, so I don't want it to just be something that's sitting there that I can't take on adventures in the meantime. I want it to be functional throughout the whole build, so while that's probably going to make it a little bit sloppier, and I'm probably going to have to redo things, I think that's fine because it's fun. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. In the next van build video, I'll be putting a roof fan in and putting a window on the sliding door. Might get to insulation, but we'll see. Like I kind of mentioned earlier in the video, I've been sitting on a bunch of other videos that are just like adventures I've gone on before I got the van and now that I've had it. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of that. And comment what you think. I'd love your advice if you've done van builds or just are good at construction in general. I could use it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll stick around for the rest of my adventures and the rest of me building out this van. Please subscribe. Goodbye. I think that's good. Do I need anything else? You can watch me chug the rest of this water. I guess that wasn't really a chug. That was like a leisurely drink, but bye.